Hi all 11th standard guys. 10th standard में से now you are gone into 11th standard. All set for junior college, young collegians. Good. I am happy. I am also happy to tell you that today we are starting with 11th standard maths test videos, test series rather. Every week I will be putting 2 to 3 videos. Not lengthy, 10 या 15 मिनट का, sometimes 5 minutes also. But see those videos because every videos carries some quality information, because of which your basics will be strong. Basics for both 11th and 12th. I will also be including certain CET problems in those. Okay, 11th का जो CET में पूछते हैं वो भी बीच बीच में मैं लूँगा. Right, so today, the first day, I am starting with chapter 1 of M2. उसका नाम है complex numbers. Okay, complex numbers. It is a totally different concept. It was a totally different concept for maths also. Recently यानी a few centuries back. Maths तो बहुत पुराना है, many centuries back. So complex numbers is the name of the chapter, but the chapter is not that complex. No need to worry, it's quite simple. But today we will have an introduction कि complex numbers कैसे invent हुए. You should know the basics of complex numbers. Okay, so we will see that कैसे तैयार हुए complex numbers. For that I have taken an equation. 10th standard की equation ली है. Consider the equation x plus 5 bracket squared equal to 64. Naturally bracket squared है, so I will take square roots on both sides. यहाँ पे x plus 5 आ गया, square goes after taking the square root. Right hand side root of 64. Now root of 64 is plus minus 8. Equation, quadratic equation from 10th standard. So x plus 5 is equal to plus minus 8 आ गया. How to solve? X plus 5 is equal to plus 8 और x plus 5 is equal to minus 8. दो केसेस हो गए ना. So x is equal to 8 minus 5 और x is equal to minus 8 minus 5. So x is equal to 3 और x is equal to minus 13. These are the two answers that we get. As usual. तो अभी कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर यहां तक तो नहीं आ गए. लेट अस सी व्हेन द कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर्स आर यूज्ड. देखो अभी कंसीडर करो x plus 5 bracket squared equal to minus 64. अर्लियर वी हैड टेकन plus 64. वापस सेम मेथड ट्राई करेंगे. टेकिंग स्क्वायर रूट्स x plus 5 bracket squared का स्क्वायर रूट x plus 5 रूट ऑफ minus 64. करेक्ट. अभी रूट ऑफ माइनस 64, डोंट मेक द मिस्टेक ऑफ टेकिंग द स्क्वायर रूट एंड से माइनस 8. दोस्तों याद रखो, इन 10th स्टैंडर्ड ऑल्सो वी हैड सीन दैट रूट ऑफ अ नेगेटिव नंबर डज नॉट एग्जिस्ट इन द सेट ऑफ रियल नंबर्स. रियल नंबर में रूट ऑफ अ नेगेटिव नंबर पॉसिबल नहीं है. इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल. इफ यू रिमेंबर 10th स्टैंडर्ड में देयर वाज वन पार्ट, नेचर ऑफ रूट्स. ओके, बी स्क्वायर माइनस 4ac, इसके अंदर बी स्क्वायर माइनस 4ac रहता है. सो इफ दैट बी स्क्वायर माइनस 4ac itself is 0, रूट के अंदर, सॉरी, if b square minus 4ac itself is negative, then what was our nature? In 10th standard we wrote roots are not real. जो अभी मैं बोला हूँ, real roots do not exist, and then we used to leave the problem. Okay, so this square root of a negative number was not possible till many centuries after maths was invented. Many centuries. Okay, square root of a negative number आया तो बोलते थे not possible, and real roots are actually not possible. But then there was one mathematician. There was one mathematician in the year 1545. Mathematician G. Cardano from Italy. He was an Italian mathematician. उसने सोचा कि ऐसा क्यों, why do we leave it halfway, कुछ तो आंसर आना चाहिए. So he thought of an idea. तो उसका आइडिया क्या था? -64, he wrote 64 into -1. Okay, ध्यान से सुनो. -64 he wrote as 64 into -1. उसके बाद क्या किया? Let I squared equal to -1. He could also call it as x squared, but यहाँ पे x है ऑलरेडी. उन्होंने सोचा let us call it as I. I stands for imaginary. He imagined that let -1 be equal to I squared. You can't change -1 to +1 or -1 to some other number. इसीलिए उन्होंने एक लेटर लिया. That was called as I squared. आप सोचोगे I squared क्यों लिया? Common sense है, because after taking I squared here, because of this square we are able to find the square root. That was his idea. Okay, 1545 में कि देखेंगे ट्राई करके सॉल्यूशन आता है क्या. So 64 I squared. Followed? Clear? So क्या किया? -64 into -1. Let -1 equal to I squared. बाद में अब स्क्वायर रूट आ गया. दिस वॉज कॉर्डेनो का आइडिया. अब स्क्वायर रूट आ गया. अभी कैसे स्क्वायर रूट लोगे? देखो, x + 5 प्लस और माइनस स्क्वायर रूट ऑफ 64 इज 8. स्क्वायर रूट ऑफ I squared इज I. तो सेटिस्फाई हो गए सब. ठीक है, स्क्वायर रूट आ गया. सो रूट साइन गोज राइट. बाद में यूजुअल मेथड, कीप x ऑन वन साइड, टेक -5 ऑन द अदर साइड. यहाँ पे लिया -5, +5 ऑन द अदर साइड बिकम्स -5. सो यू गेट -5 प्लस और माइनस 8 आए. वापस स्प्लिट अप करो. x इज इक्वल टू -5 प्लस 8 आए और x इज इक्वल टू -5 माइनस 8 आए. ऐसे दो आंसर्स आ गए. बट द डिफरेंस वाज, ये आंसर में देयर इज वन इमेजिनरी पार्ट, देयर इज वन रियल पार्ट. रियल पार्ट यानी रियल नंबर, रियल पार्ट, इमेजिनरी पार्ट. ओके, तो रियल पार्ट हाउ डू यू रिकॉग्नाइज? देयर इज नो I over here. Imaginary part is 8 or -8 because it is along with I. So any number which is a combination of real part and imaginary part is called as a complex number. That is how complex number was developed. Theory उसका ये है, right? By calling I squared is equal to -1. Now this entire chapter in the 11th standard we are going to use the formula I squared equal to -1. Okay, so कौन सा भी प्रॉब्लम आने दो, just put I squared equal to -1 and get the answer. We are going to take the problems later on. Today was an introduction कि complex number कैसे आए. Okay, what is the meaning of complex number, because it is a totally new concept, as it was a new concept some centuries back, right? Okay, so in general, any complex number can be denoted by a plus or minus bi. उसको बोलते हैं z is equal to a plus or minus b. z just a notation, right? As we have seen here, it can be 5 plus or minus 8i, 3 plus or minus 4i, 2 plus or minus 6i, anything. Combination of real part and imaginary part. This is called as a complex number. So initially when Cardano invented that, he thought इन्वेंट तो किया है, ठीक है, स्क्वायर रूट आया, लेकिन इसका यूज होगा कि नहीं मैथ्स में. फॉर सम इयर्स ही थॉट इतना यूजफुल नहीं है. बट लेटर ऑन complex numbers were used to solve some important aspects in maths. Okay, they were also used in graphs to plot certain points. Okay, तो इसका यूज नहीं, ऐसा नहीं, it is useful. Okay, so this was all about complex numbers that we have learned today. Okay, remember this form: a plus or minus bi. A is the real part, b is the imaginary part. Okay, that's all for today. Next time say we will start solving the problems, important sums on complex numbers, wherein we are going to use one basic formula, I squared equal to minus 1. For all these sums there is only one basic formula, I squared equal to minus 1. That was the thought of Cardano. कार्डानो का जो थॉट है वो बेस है इधर, I squared equal to minus 1. Clear? Okay, bye for today. Meet you in another day or two. See you guys.